Vienna, Austria, Avalanche, and from Dresden in Germany, Shooter Schulz. Together, they are blown up.
The big man is in there! The Avalanche! Shooter is out!
Look at the Avalanche! Look at the power of this! Look at the
Our guest tonight is the best co-driver ever while sleeping. He is the best wrestler who played baseball. He had that match in the McDonald's Arena in Lippstadt. And also, he had a match with Buff Bagwell at Superstars of Wrestling. Tonight he's blown up, and any other day a very nice guy. Lights, camera, Jaxon Stone! Everybody!
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Blown Up. My name is Avalanche, aka Robert Dreisker, and with me for episode number 29, Felix Shooter Schulz. Hello Felix, welcome back to the show.
Hello Robert, and we are back with an English episode, as you probably already realized, because we're talking English. And Robert, how was your week? How was your day? How was your morning? I don't know. How was your sleep last night?
I slept way too long, but I slept very good.
Always.
Thanks
nice.
for asking. Why do you always ask me when we're on the show? You never ask me in private.
Because I think if we talk in private too often, we don't have this freshness for the show our listeners deserve. But
all right. I'm cool. I'm cool with whatever.
So, another thing I wanted to tell, because I think it was very funny. Yesterday, my lovely wife locked herself out while walking the dog, like, before going to work, which is not a good thing, because I was in Dresden, in the gym, and afterwards at Ilya's place, drinking coffee, and then just had to bike back to Freital, which is like half an hour with the bike, and let her back into the house. But my wife, how great she is, that was a problem. She locked herself out. Now she learned. Yesterday evening I got like a message, a WhatsApp message. I just taught myself through YouTube how to open a door with your bank card. And so that's how it is now. She can now open our door with her bank card.
Oh, because you said with your bank card.
Also no, like with any.
Which that would actually be really funny.
Yeah, no, it's with any bank card. Just that's how it is. You have a problem and you solve it. That's how you do it. Sorry, that's a short story I wanted to tell.
I was expecting a little bit more, but I mean, it's funny. It's funny, but you teased me so hard beforehand, so I was expecting a little bit more. But
I didn't tease you that. I just wanted to. I think it's funny that at the same day she locked herself out, she just had to learn how to break into a home. And how easy it is, because she just could learn it in a couple of minutes. That's kinda...
Or you just have a shitty front door. Ever
No,
thought about that?
Our door is not that bad, to be honest, so it's really...
It's not that bad, which means it's bad, but it's not that bad.
It could be worse. But... back to the topic. Episode 29, ladies and gentlemen. Who's our guest today?
Yeah, our guest today is Mr. Lights, Camera, Jaxon Stone, everybody.
Yes, the good old Jaxon Stone, who was with WXW for a while, who we met back in April in New York. And I'm happy here to talk to him, because we haven't seen him for a while, as we said, and yeah, guys, enjoy.
Enjoy the talk with good old Jaxon.
So, Mr. Jaxon Stone, sir, haven't seen you
Hey.
in a while.
I mean, I saw you in in New York for WrestleMania weekend.
That's completely true. I forgot about that already. It's 3 months
I
ago.
mean, it was super brief.
Yeah, well,
But yeah.
it was a fun evening
But
though.
before that, it had been a while since I'd seen you.
That's true.
I mean, you're in the UK from time to time, and you don't drop by in Germany, so there are
I'm gonna say
possibilities.
that's not on me. That's on a certain company that won't bring me to their shows anymore.
Why? Did they,
I don't have an answer for that question.
did they just say like, not now, doesn't work at the moment, or?
Yeah, they're always like professional when responding to me, but it's always just like, no, it doesn't fit in our plans, or not right now, or just some of those basic, wrestling answers.
Yeah, okay. So, but how was your UK thing? You went to Rev Pro, right? A couple of days back?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah. On Sunday, like 3 days ago, or when was Sunday? Today's Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, so already last weekend. Yeah, so I basically flew out to the UK for just a week. Basically, I flew out there a few days early just to kind of hang out. But I just did Rev Pro at the Cockpit on Sunday.
Yeah, sorry.
And
that was my dog.
I always stay with David Starr when I'm out there, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. He was also there?
At the Cockpit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrestled Pac.
Oh, why would I know? I'm not the guy who's into wrestling that much. It seems like Bertel knows stuff like this.
But the best part about my trip was that Jurn and Julian Pace are also in the UK right now.
Oh,
I guess that's something Felix doesn't know as well.
yeah. You went to the cinema. I've seen that.
Yeah, so we hung out like all day Monday, a little bit on Tuesday. Went to a few bars. I went to the cinema and saw Spider-Man. Ate a bunch of food. Talked about Julian and how whatever. And I won't blast him out on this podcast, but we had a conversation about him being a good human being. And Jurn was Jurn.
I bet.
He's great, as always.
How was the Spider-Man movie? Is it okay?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Okay, by the way, I don't hear you anymore.
I'm not like, you don't hear me anymore.
Oh, no, now you're back. Excuse me. How was the Spider-Man movie?
Spider-Man movie was really good. I'm not like super familiar with like all the Spider-Man villains from the comic, so I didn't know that the guy in the movie who was the villain was going to be the villain.
Yeah.
I don't know if it threw me for a loop, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it, and then the previews or the credits at the end were really cool too. So
Yeah, I've seen it as well this week.
Oh, okay.
you saw it too?
Yeah, I can recommend it. It's a good movie.
Good.
Yeah, it was fun.
We have that out of the way now.
Good.
As we said, like, when was the last time you were at WXW?
Oh, I guess Felix didn't do the research gimmick.
No.
Of course not. But it'd have to be like 3 years or something right now?
No.
2 years?
It was 2 years. It was like the end of 2017, like December of 2017.
That's that long already? Jesus.
Yeah, super long.
Speaking of WXW, what I would be interested in, because you started out in 2015, if I'm right. 2016?
Yes.
Please correct me.
Yeah, 20.
How did you get to know about WXW and the Wrestling Academy? And yeah, how big of a step was it for you to really like get on a plane, fly to Europe, which is kind of weird if I think about it, because you come from the homeland of wrestling, but you get on a plane to fly to a wrestling academy in Europe to learn your craft or to get better at what you do. How did you get notice of the academy and WXW as a whole? You
remember that trailer or that promo that David Starr put out about the academy, like him and Tyler Bate. It's like they put out a video basically what the WXW Academy is. Do you remember that happening?
Yeah, sure.
So I saw that on the internet, on Facebook or something. And so at that time, I was like, I'd been wrestling in Texas for like a year and a half. And I just wanted to I wanted to do something else. I wanted to go train somewhere out of the country. And so I was just looking for a spot where I could train and live all like for like one price and just go and do it. And so then I stumbled upon that trailer, and I had never met David at the time. So then like coincidentally, like a week later, we did this Harley race camp in St. Louis together, and he just was there. It was like a 5-day camp. It was pretty cool. And so I spoke with him about me wanting to go and all this stuff. And he like gave me some good information. And so that's when I just emailed the Academy page. And I think Walter was running it or responded at the time. And I was just like, yeah, I want to come for like a month. He gave me a price. I was like, great. And then I showed up, and then it was awesome. Because Walter was there like full time at that point. He's really busy now, so he's not as much available. But I basically got to train with him like 4 or 5 days a week for like 4 weeks. And then I was lucky enough to get asked to come back on a couple tours. So yeah, that's kind of how it came to be. I just was looking for a place to go train outside the country. And at the time, UK didn't really have anything where you could like live, train, and like all that in one. And WXW did, and it was a great setup. And so yeah, that's kind of how it came to be.
And how did people react? I don't know, from your training school or in the States when you told them, yeah, you're going to Europe to wrestle or to the academy. How did they react? Because at that point, the WXW Academy, I think the repetition wasn't as good or as big as it is today. Because you were kind of one of the first guys, international guys, I think, to be there, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't as popular or well known as it is like now. Like when you talk about WXW now in the States, like people are fairly familiar with like its reputation and how prestigious it is in like the European wrestling scene. But when I did it a couple years ago, people were just like, "Oh, that's really cool that you're going to go to Europe and train and wrestle. That's good on you, man, for getting that initiative." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool. Anyone can do it." I like it. For me, it wasn't that like a huge deal to like fly to another country and train, because like I knew that's kind of what I wanted to do when I started wrestling to begin with. Like I was never a guy who just wanted like to stay in the same area at the same time all the time and just like be a big fish in a small pond. But that's kind of how Texas wrestling is. That's why people get stuck in like the bubble of Texas wrestling. So I knew I wanted to get out, and this was just like a good opportunity for me to start doing that. But people were just like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. Sweet. It's Europe." Now they're like, "Oh, WXW, that's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not that cool."
How is the scene in Texas? How can I like imagine that? Is there like a big company around?
So obviously Texas is massive, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a shitload of work. Like it's pretty easy to wrestle 3 nights a week. But the problem is, it's like usually it's like the same group of guys wrestling on those 3 shows, and like the exposure outside of like the South or Texas is very low, because they're not on like a bunch of like really good streaming services. Like there's not a lot of exposure on like Twitter for those kind of companies, but there's a few that are doing pretty well right now. Like Inspire Pro is fairly well known. They bring in a lot of outside talent. I'm sure you've heard of Wrestle Circus. They have like a big following out here. Yeah, they're a dog shit company, so whatever.
But do they still do shows? I thought they're gone, or I don't know, stopped doing shit.
They shut down twice already, so they're back like for their third go round. I think they've had 2 shows in their third comeback.
Cool.
But they don't really like me. They blocked me on Twitter, so I'll probably never ever work for them.
Okay, what happened? That they blocked you?
Did you see anything about that?
No.
So like a few months ago, they kept announcing their return show, and I was like, cool. That's like about around the same time that I was moving back to Texas, and I had never worked for Wrestle Circus, like because I was leaving and still kind of getting my name together when they were like still doing shows in Texas. So like it kind of never worked out, and then they shut down basically the whole time that I was living in Philadelphia, and now I'm about to move back to Texas. They're like about to start their show up again. I'm like, cool. This could be great. I didn't like message the promoter or anything. I figured he'd just know who I was at this point, and he'd either use me or he wouldn't. But yeah, I guess like the Wrestle Circus Twitter account kept putting out like tweets about who would you like to see, who would you like to see, who should we book, yada yada. You know, like the normal wrestling crap that happens on Twitter.
Yeah.
And a few fan accounts from Twitter like kept tweeting my name, like this other guy named Andy Dalton who also lives in Texas. And they just kept putting our name out so that maybe Wrestle Circus might use us. And then randomly, Wrestle Circus puts out a tweet that says, it's not the best way to get booked if you create fan accounts and keep tweeting at us. Sorry to call you out, Jaxon Stone. So basically, they called me out for like creating like burner accounts and just like tweeting my name a bunch of times. And I didn't do that. But regardless of like, I mean, I think it's a good idea. Like, it's pretty smart to create burner accounts and just like tweet your name. It's like I think it's a cool idea. I might do it now. But yeah, so they put that out, and like I immediately messaged them. And I was like, hey, this is not me. I'm not doing this. But regardless of whether I created the accounts or not, it's super unprofessional for a wrestling company to tweet that out because now, no matter what, if it's true or not, people are going to look at me a little bit differently. So that happened. It like went on for like 24 hours. It was like wild. David Starr got involved. He had my back through the whole thing. They actually blocked him on Twitter as well. They basically blocked every person on Twitter who had my back during this like whole thing, like a bunch of fans. They stripped Andy Dalton of the titles because he had my back. Like it was a whole thing that didn't need to be a whole thing.
So you're telling me I should tweet to them now and ask them why they don't book Jaxon Stone? Is that what you're telling me?
That would be awesome.
Well, I'm currently on the Twitter machine as we speak.
Me too. I'm just doing that right now.
Because I can't see anything they tweet, obviously, because they blocked me. But yeah, you should definitely do that because that's hilarious.
Yeah, I will do that. So, please, can you say something for the next 1.5 minutes or so, so we can...
Does Andy Dalton look anything like one of the Daltons from Lucky Luke?
I don't know what that is. That you
I don't think Lucky Luke is popular in America because it's
really?
It's a French cartoon.
Oh, it's a French cartoon. Oh, sorry, never mind.
It's a big cartoon from the 70s or 60s or something here in Europe.
Yeah, so no, I don't know.
Have you learned nothing here with us in Europe?
Yeah, I've learned a lot, just not old ass French comedies.
Why haven't you learned everything about what our culture is about?
That's my bad. That's on me.
It's completely on you. Why did you shave off your beautiful hair? That was a terrible day for many people.
Oh no, this can't be a conversation of topic. I just was kind of sick of the long hair, and I just got tired of my drain getting clogged every time that I showered, having to like put it up in a bun, it getting in my face when I wrestled. So I was over it. And then I realized like the only reason I grew my hair out to begin with was that I thought that pro wrestlers needed long hair. And then I was like, nah, I'm already a pro wrestler. I don't need this long hair anymore. It's gone.
Touché. Like, you started out in sports as a baseball player, right? Or was that...
I did.
Like, you were not bad, as I heard. And you were kind of...
Yeah, I was pretty good. Pretty good up until a point where everyone was pretty good, and then I wasn't good anymore.
Ah, shit. So... But
you Europeans don't really care about baseball, so...
I actually tried to learn the rules at some point just because I wanted to understand why people like are interested in it. And I get it.
Yeah.
I have a baseball video game on my PC that's in start right now and I play it from time to time. I think that's as far as I can go.
That's pretty good. That's more than most, I think.
Yeah, like, and I think I understand a little bit what it's about, but yeah, it's kind of strange for us here.
Like,
I mean, I
generally
appreciate
it's-
baseball caps. That gotta be enough.
Yeah, the baseball caps are the best part. Yeah, because they're cool and they're stylish.
And I'm from Eastern Germany. We do the baseball bat thing to beat some people up.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, baseball bats have been used a lot to beat people up.
I have a nice story about that. At one point when I was like a little bit younger and a little bit stupider, I wanted to get a baseball bat for my car, like when I was 18 or 19 or so, because we had some trouble with some guys. So I went to like a sports store and just asked like, do you guys have baseball bats? And he like just looked at me. Yes, but only for baseball playing, not for beating people up. And I was like, no, really. I want to play baseball. And then he explained me like the rules for 45 minutes. And I just stood there and nodded and so, yeah, that's what we want to do. Yeah. And then I bought a baseball bat.
Cool.
Yeah.
He knew already that you just wanted to beat people up.
I think that's why people go there. And it was not even like a cool wooden one. It was like like a green metal one. It looked so stupid. Well.
Oh, that's it?
Never used it.
Never. You didn't beat anyone up with it?
No. I think that's a
Lame.
good thing.
Does Felix look like he could beat anybody on this planet up?
With a baseball bat?
Yes.
Probably. That's why I wanted a baseball bat.
With a baseball bat in hand, he's got the advantage over a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, not in Eastern Germany, because everybody there owns a baseball bat as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you may be screwed. But if you come to the States, you can do it.
But everybody there has a gun.
In the States?
Yes. No.
Well, in Texas, yeah, everyone has a gun. So maybe you might be screwed here.
Okay, maybe this will never happen. I will never take a baseball bat and try to beat people up. I think those times are over for me. Well, thank God.
I think you're more mature. I think you're more mature now.
Yeah, I think so too. But I like that we can talk about Eastern Germany for a second, because I remember, like, you had one strange match in Chemnitz or Limbach or so, where like we had this 3 days tour, and like for one day you were doing the babyface, right?
Right.
And did what was it, like the People's Moonstone?
Oh, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this for sure.
No,
yeah, great.
I just remembered that.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't even know if it's taped. I don't think so. I think it was a pure house show.
It's not taped. It's on a house show. It's not taped. No one will ever see it except for that live crowd.
Who were you wrestling there?
I was wrestling AJ as a babyface.
That was that one. Now I remember it more, yeah. In this strange club.
And I wanted... Yeah. And I had never done a moonsault in a match before. And I felt like, okay, this is the match. Why not? And then I went for it. And I totally just landed right on my head. And it was awful.
Yeah, like I would just remember the crowd. Yeah, the crowd going wild.
What?
The crowd going wild while you were like getting them into it and like running the ropes, and they were loud and yelling, and then there was just nothing, silence.
Yeah, they were so into it up until that point, and then I just ruined it. And then I was so mad the whole time. I kept like whispering to AJ, "Fuck," the whole time.
Good times.
Have I been on that show?
Probably not if you don't remember.
Yeah, if you don't remember, it was the highlight of the whole weekend. I got a standing ovation when I got to the back. I'm the only one I ever got in WXW for that. Sick. So sick.
Didn't you get one for your ladies match with Dragon?
Oh yeah, I got one for that. Yeah, so 2 of my top moments are me landing on my head and having a 2001 Divas match. Perfect.
That's so wonderful.
That's what I'm well known for.
And like there's the Buff Bagwell match.
Oh, also, yeah, another absolute 5-star classic.
Like, it was pretty great with all the promo before that.
Yeah, it was cool with like the promo, and then I forgot the referee's name that got the big pop.
Markus Weiss.
Yes, I liked him. He was wild.
Yeah.
He likes to party.
Jesus Christ. By the way, Cruiser Kong just liked my tweet.
Oh, you put it out? You put it out already?
Yeah, the co-founder and former member. So, let's see.
That guy books Wrestle Circus.
Yeah, he liked the tweet.
It would be great if we get you booked for Wrestle Circus during that interview. I don't see it coming, but
Right?
it would be great.
Awesome.
Let's see what will happen.
Me neither, but I think this is pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. I'm liking this. So, another thingy, because I'm a little jumping here through the time. And
Uh-huh.
actually, I don't know if you want to talk about this, so I just ask you right now. Do you want to talk about the tryout?
My WWE tryout?
Yeah.
Yeah, Felix, you gotta be a little bit more specific because Mr. Jaxon Stone had a couple of tryouts.
Sorry.
Because you tried out for Ring of Honor
Yeah,
as well, right?
Yeah, I did a Ring of Honor tryout. I did a tryout, a full tryout, and I didn't make any of them. But yeah, we could talk about the WWE tryout. It was fun.
So, then let's talk about the WWE tryout. That was fun, I guess.
It was, yeah.
Where,
I went last February.
like 2018 or like 2019? No, 2019, right?
I guess a year and a half ago. So yeah,
Jesus.
February of 2018.
Where was it? Was it down in Florida? Or was
Yeah,
it...
I was at the PC. I spent like 3 days at the PC in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience. Basically, the cardio wasn't as bad as you'd expect, as I went in like really good shape. Yeah, it's just like 3 days of cardio drills, rolls, promos. You do like a weightlifting sesh, and then there's a 5-minute match at the end of the tryout, basically.
Was it one of those tryouts where you would get invited or where you could sign up for?
Invite. Yeah, it was invite.
So who was the guy talking for you, or isn't that how it works?
Yeah, so I went to like a few. I did an Evolve try, or actually, I did extra talent work when WrestleMania was in Dallas, and the guy leading like the extra talent work was William Regal, and I didn't get to wrestle because like the doctor didn't show up or whatever, so that sucked. But I cut a few promos in front of Regal, and I guess he liked them, and so he gave me his email. He said keep in touch with me, so I did. And then like maybe 6 months or a year later, I did a WWN or Evolve tryout, and Regal was there again. And this time he actually watched me wrestle. He was like, dope. We had a conversation after the tryout, and then we emailed back and forth. And then eventually he sent me, well, not him, but WWE sent me like the packet to fill out for the tryout. And then like a few months after that, I got like the invitation for the tryout.
That's good.
Yeah, and then did the tryout. At the feedback I got basically at the end of the tryout was like, you did a really good job. You came in good shape. We're impressed with what you did. But at this point, we don't have anything to offer you because your name value is not really that high. So we don't really have a place for you here. But once you increase your name value, we'll definitely keep looking at you and probably eventually find a spot for you.
Like, what is this still your goal? Is WWE your goal, or like what are you trying to achieve in wrestling?
I mean, WWE is like basically always the goal, but I'm not as like obsessed with it as I used to be, because when I first started, it was like one track mind, get there, and then that's it. But now I'd like what I'm doing on the indie scene, and I just want to like build up my name value on the indie scene and be one of those like super elite independent professional wrestlers. And then when I'm at like my highest point, basically write my own ticket to like NXT, so where like eventually when I go there, I can be in like the best spot possible and not get lost in the shuffle and immediately be put on TV and all this kind of stuff. So that's kind of the goal. So I'm just trying to make Jaxon Stone the best possible thing. But yeah, eventually WWE is the goal, because that's where I can, make the most money and expand my brand the most and have the biggest platform.
Like, what do you think when you're like around in the indies? I don't know how many promotions you do or stuff like this, but it seems to me like it's not very easy for you, because you're not like this typical indie guy. Like, you're very character driven or very like charisma driven more than doing shitload of spots or whatever. How does this work out? Like, especially in America this time.
because when I first started what I was doing, I was all like pretty much character driven. And then when I moved to the East Coast, it's different there. Like they want more high spots and stuff like that. And now that I'm back in Texas, it's like it's still a bit of old school wrestling in Texas, and there's still a bit into character stuff and charisma and personality and having something that's unique and stand out. So now I'm just kind of trying to blend the two together. I think that's the perfect mixture of, like, you know, having a presence and a personality that people are going to connect to, and then also doing some cool moves that can be gift and put online and go nuts over. So trying to find like a mixture between the two is hard, but I think it's going all right, and I'm kind of getting the hang of it.
But like then, what you already said is that the Texas scene doesn't have the exposure. But
yeah, it's not as well known as like some of the other spots. Like it doesn't have like a Beyond or like an AAW or a WXW or like a Rev Pro or something like that, where everyone around the world knows what it is. But I think it's getting there because there's a ton of talent out here. It's just like the right people need to see it and expose it. And I'm trying to do just that. So hopefully it grows into something like pretty special.
Well, as you just said, like you moved to the East Coast. Like when was that? How many years ago? Or how long did you stay there in total?
So I went there in January of 2018. So I spent like basically about a year and 6 months there. Like right when I got back from my last tour of WXW, I moved to Philadelphia.
Oh, directly afterwards. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then I just came back to Texas a month ago in June. Yeah, so I spent like a year and 6 months out there.
Where did you live there? Like, do you got your own little apartment, or I don't know how this works, or is there like I don't know, an apartment where five indie wrestlers live?
For the first 6 months, I lived in a house with an old buddy of mine, and then they moved, and then I got an apartment with Wheeler Yuta, who like just got done being a WXW.
Yes.
Yeah, so I lived with Wheeler for like a year there, and yeah, it was great. It was awesome. We had our own little place in Upper Darby. It's like 15 minutes from the center city of Philadelphia, where like the Rocky statue is and everything. Yeah, and we lived together. It was cool. He's great.
Yes, he told his side of the story. You told Jörn and me in New York in this bar where it almost went to a brawl. Who was it? Eric Martin?
Oh yeah. What did Wheeler tell you?
Yeah, his side, like his view, because we heard your view, exactly the same thing, but he was laughing hysterically while telling us.
You guys know that our listeners have no fucking clue what you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah, that's okay. We don't need to rehash the whole story here.
No, that's for another day.
Yeah, but that's a funny story. Jörn mentioned that to me the other day when we were hanging out. I totally forgot about it.
It changed mine and Jörn's life, obviously. It's still funny. So
it's your life.
Yeah. Let's go away from the story we don't even tell, which is a shitty thing to do.
Yeah. I hope all the listeners are just so confused about the whole story and they just think of like in their own heads what happened. And then that's what happened.
Long story short, ask Wheeler Yuta or Jaxon Stone or at Wrestle Circus for more details.
Yes, absolutely. They know the whole story by heart.
So, Bertel, you have a question for a moment?
Yeah, I would have a bunch of questions if you wouldn't have taken it away from the tryout. Because I was about to ask if William Regal liked your work, did it help you in any way to, even if you didn't get signed with WWE, but did it help you to get booked in other places?
Not one bit.
Thought so, because because I would think if you do a WWN tryout and there's William Regal sitting there and telling that your work is good, there should some people pay attention to it and maybe invest in a guy like you. So
yeah, I tried really hard to wrestle for Evolve and WWN. Like I went to a couple of their tryouts. I went to a bunch of their shows to help out and set up the ring, and I never got used. And I've emailed with Gabe back and forth, and there's just never been a point where he's been like, yeah, we'd like to use you. And it just like, it just never worked out. And that's kind of upsetting, but it is what some of that stuff is out of my control, and there's nothing I could do. It's cool that they're having a show on the WWE Network this weekend. I wish I could be a part of that because that'd be awesome. But kudos to those guys that are doing it. But yeah, just like nothing ever came from it. But that's okay. That's part of life, part of wrestling.
Do you have any idea? Because you did a bunch of tryout, as we already mentioned. Do you have an idea why it never really clicked with any of those big promotions?
No, I wish I knew. Then I wish I got more of like a feedback of what like to do better, what to change. But I never really got any of that. I just kind of got not at this time. So I'm just trying to keep doing what I've been doing, I guess, and making those changes as I go. But I wish I had gotten more of like specific, you need to do this better to be here kind of thing. But I never did. So I guess, I don't know. Did you get frustrated with all the no's? Yeah,
I say.
Yeah, I get frustrated a lot with pro wrestling, but I've slowly learned that the things that I can't control are things that I can't worry about. Now, not to say that doesn't bother me sometimes, but most of the time I just try to focus on what I can do. And if I don't get booked by a certain place, or someone doesn't like my work, or they don't want to use me at that time, then there's nothing really I can do about it except keep working on putting out my best product, and then hopefully it changes their mind. But yeah, of course the no's are always frustrating, and it's kind of like
like I don't
brings down your sales. But
I don't get it, to be honest, because I think you're good. I think you've done great work.
Thank you.
And I feel you're not one-dimensional. You have done different cool stuff, just, I don't know, what I've seen here, mostly in Germany, of course. The story with Bobby and Ringkampf was a different side, and all this. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, I feel like I have a ton to offer as well. Like, I could do a variety of things, and I don't know, it'll catch on eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, slowly but surely it is, but it's just it gets frustrating at times.
Back then when you were doing baseball, was it your number one gig, or was there a plan B, not like wrestling, or a normal life, so to say, plan B?
Well, when I was playing baseball was always the focus. I for as long as I could, so that wasn't good enough to play anymore. That's basically what happened at kind of the end of my career. And then I always knew during baseball that pro wrestling is what I really wanted to do. So it was kind of somewhat of a relief to end baseball and just jump right into being a pro wrestler. And I think it helped me a lot because there's a lot of similarities between the two in terms of levels you have to go up, the amount of pay you get at the lower levels and how it increases as time goes on. But yeah, I mean, baseball was cool, but it was always pro wrestling was always there. So
how were your parents when you, the son, decided for those are very risky career choices,
Right. Super risky, yeah.
How was it more Jaxon, go to law school, or I don't know what?
No, my parents have always been super great and supportive. They've pretty much said, do what you love, and they've always supported it 1,000%, no matter what I was doing. Especially my mom, she supported me in baseball throughout the whole thing, and now is my biggest fan as a pro wrestler, and helps me more than anyone will know as being as supporting me as being a pro wrestler. So there was never a point in my life where I felt like I had to get a regular job to make them happy. They've always just been happy when I'm happy chasing my dreams. So I think that's the number one thing that's helped me be successful fairly quick as a pro wrestler, or as a baseball player, or just as a human being. So yeah, it's always been really great to have them.
Yeah, you just said one thing, and we shouldn't forget that, because it sounded 5 minutes ago so kind of down-putting, oh, you've done those trials and didn't work and blah blah blah. You're doing this for 4 years now. That's it, right? You're just started. You're in the beginning of your career, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of shit
September,
already. Yeah,
September will be 4 years. So that is kind of putting it into perspective, I guess. So I guess time in the business and all that like veteran stuff or like experience or like having more years like equals better. Like all that stuff didn't really resonate with me, because I feel like if you've got it, you've got it, and like someone who's been doing it longer doesn't deserve the spot because they've been doing it longer. If they're better, they deserve it. But that was always my mindset, like going in. So I think that's kind of in my. But yeah, I mean, like it's crazy that all this stuff has happened in only like 5 years. So.
And I guess you're true. It's true. It's not about how long you're there, and like it doesn't mean just because you've been there for 15 years that you're a good wrestler or whatever. But I guess it helps just if your name is known for, I don't know, 7-8 years in the business or whatever. So
right.
Where you're back to your, like you said, your mom and so is very supportive. Were your parents wrestle people? Like, is it as
no.
Oh, that's sad. I really hope that there's like this, you went to like those cool Texas shows when you were young with your parents or whatever.
No, never. Like I didn't even know independent professional wrestling existed until I started training. All I knew was like WWE, and I didn't start watching WWE until 2006, which is like the summer before I went to high school. So then it became like an obsession. Like, then my dad and I would go to a bunch of Raws when it came to Dallas. They bought me all the DVDs and T-shirts. I would host like pay-per-view parties on Sunday for like a few of my friends that liked wrestling. So then my parents like kind of knew that was like the journey that I wanted to take, because of how quickly I became obsessed with like WWE and John Cena and Edge and all these cool people. But now they go to the indie shows that I'm on that are close to my home, and
cool.
They pretty much only watch my match, which is probably the best idea because it's going to be the best one. But my mom's super into it now. You know, she watches stuff on YouTube and kind of keeps tabs on stuff going on social media, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's great.
So, I hope she buries your haters on Twitter.
She does have a Twitter, and sometimes she looks at it, but she doesn't really comment or post on anything except for my stuff. But I think she should start being my burner account. I'm just going to use her as it.
Said I thought maybe she's fighting your fight against those bullies in those other companies there. That's
right. Even though like her name obviously is the same as my last name, and most people know what my real last name is, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh well, Twitter. Great.
I just tried to search for Jackson's mom, but it doesn't work.
That should be your handle. That's great.
Just Google Jackson's mom. Nope.
No,
lights, camera, mama.
That's beautiful.
Since a couple of months now, you started this kind of, this hashtag or this, I don't know how to call it, this project, You Are Loved, right?
Yeah, right.
Tell us something about it.
So it's based off just something that I like, the words "you are loved" or something that I feel like helped me kind of get through what happened to my sister. And the whole project, the whole campaign is based on her and her memory. And I want to, through like what she went through in her battle, I'd like to spread mental health and mental health awareness and try to help save someone's life or help share a story. So that's basically what the whole campaign is about. I did a few videos myself, like explaining the situation, explaining why I'm doing it, explaining why it means so much to me. We're about like today I posted the 6th video from the series, and basically what it is just people from all walks of life recording a video of themselves, sending me that video, me posting it as part of my series. And it's just them sharing their story, their struggle, their battle through mental health and through mental illness, and how they overcome it, how they fight every day, and sort of a message, a positive message of strength for everyone to kind of see and look at, and then maybe make them feel more okay to talk about what they're going through or to get the help that they need. So that's basically the idea of the project. It's something that's like very, very important to me, and probably the most important thing that I do every week is that, and trying to spread that awareness and make it more okay to talk about those kind of feelings and stuff like that. So that's the project. Check it out on if you're listening. Check it out on Twitter, Facebook every Friday at noon U.S. time. It drops, so like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, where you guys are. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Like maybe for people who don't really follow that or don't know that, like just very shortly, what happened to your sister? She was depressive, or?
Yeah, so in September, my sister committed suicide. She was bipolar and had depression for like 11 years. And she unfortunately reached her breaking point, which a lot of people do. So that's why I started the series, so I can help people prevent that breaking point, or just maybe to show them that they are loved and there is someone who cares for them and stuff like that. So that's why it means so much to me, because of my sister and everything that she meant to me. So that's the basis of the project and the campaign.
Did you got already some feedback to the things, to the campaign? Like, or...
Yeah, like I've got a lot of people submitting videos, and I got a lot of people telling me that it's helped them and it's helped them feel more okay and less alone, and all this really good stuff that's happening. And I just hopefully I continue reaching like a wider audience, so more people can be positively affected by what I'm trying to do, like what we're trying to do.
Like you've been to dozens or hundreds of wrestling locker rooms, and you've been around the world. Like you've seen many people, and with your experiences with this topic, what do you think? Like, how is it in wrestling? Like in the wrestling scene, how I don't remember the word. How go people with mental health problems or mental health issues? Like, is this scene? It feels to me like there are many people, or there are often people with mental health issues in wrestling, and it feels like this wrestling at one point pulls those people in because of its nature, and the same makes it worse for those people.
Yeah, like I think it's really bad in pro wrestling, just for the fact that like the majority of the time, or when you're wrestling, you're pretending to be someone else, to an extent, maybe not fully, but you're putting on that persona and that facade. And so then you never kind of take yourself out of that persona, and you're not dealing with real parts of life and your real feelings and your real emotions. And it just gets bottled up into this like pretend character that you're portraying to people. And you're not allowing yourself to express your real emotions, especially as a man, because for some reason it's looked down upon to express how you feel, which it shouldn't be. And so then it becomes even worse in pro wrestling. You use all these other outside destructive forces to try to numb the feeling. And we've seen how that works in pro wrestling and wrestling in general and entertainment in general. And so I think it makes it a bit worse.
Yeah.
But it's just people have to be more open to the fact that someone might not be having a good day, and it's okay to talk about that. It doesn't mean they're complaining or they're being annoying. They're just trying to express how they feel so it doesn't get bottled up, because when things get bottled up, eventually it's too much and it explodes, and that's when bad things happen, or you do things that you can't come back from, or that you regret forever. So just being able to have an outlet to express that can be pro wrestling, which you've heard the positive sides of those things, where like wrestling became my outlet. It became my positive thing. It became where I could put my positive energy, and it became that thing that saved my life. And it can be the flip side as well, where it's like the negative thing that bottles up all the emotions. So hopefully more and more people see pro wrestling as the stuff that's like saving their life and being that positive outlook. And we as wrestlers and fans and just friends of each other can just be able to express how we feel when we feel it, and then be able to move on and move forward because of that.
Yep. Is there any way people can support I just call it the You Are Loved movement or campaign? Is there any way of providing help?
Yeah, like I just did a whole run of shirts. Like I sold about 70 shirts, and 50% of the proceeds were donated to mental health charities. So I'll be coming out with a new shirt in September, but where the proceeds obviously will be donated. But from now until then, like, yeah, if you see me post about You Are Loved on Facebook or Twitter, if you can share it, like it, retweet it, pass it along to your friends, because maybe someone will see it and they want to express their story, or their story might help someone that's struggling. So anything like that, if you want to reach out to me personally, I'll talk to you about anything. If you want to share your story with me and I can post it or anything like that. So yeah, just see the project, retweet it, pass it along, share it with people.
Yeah, also thank you very much for doing this, because I think also it's a very important topic, not only because of those famous cases that go through media, because like it runs in almost every family, on every social like construct, and everybody you know, and probably there is at some point somebody who needs exactly that help at that moment, or needs somebody. Because we in our family, we had also a suicide this year already, and like it can happen at every, like, one dark moment is sometimes enough for some people.
Right. That can be the last thing. Yeah. So just gonna show the light and show people that they're loved, and hopefully that helps save at least one person. You know, that's the goal, but hopefully it reaches way more than that. But
the more it reaches, the better it is, right?
Right. Exactly.
So maybe back from this important but heavy note, away from the wrestling, away from the baseball, away from the moonsaults in Chemnitz. You already talked about the Spider-Man movie you saw. Like, is there something else you can like recommend to our listeners? Movie, maybe a series, maybe a book you read, something.
Ooh. Well, I've watched. Have you guys heard of Love Island? It's that show in UK.
No. What?
Nope.
Oh man. Well, like, it's just like basically this dating show where a bunch of attractive people get put on an island and they like date and couple up and try to find love, and it's called Love Island. So pretty much when Star and I get together in the UK, we're pretty much obsessed with that show. So that's what's pretty much on my mind right now.
Because it's a fun trash show, I guess.
It's mindless entertainment. If you're into just something really easy to watch with a bunch of drama and nonsense, it's pretty funny. That's pretty much the last thing I've watched. And Spider-Man obviously was great, but I was able to watch my favorite movie of all time on the plane, which was The Dark Knight Rises, which is my favorite movie ever.
Why is it The Dark Knight Rises?
I'm like obsessed with the character of Bane in that movie, and so it's just been my favorite movie.
But isn't it sad how he dies? How almost on the side he's just like, he doesn't have the finish he deserved.
No, Jurgen and I actually talked about that same thing. Like, he didn't get the death that he deserved. Like, he deserved something bigger, something better, or not to die at all, and then just to make a movie about him, because that'd be awesome.
Him and Venom, played by the same guy. Yeah. Yeah. So, Dark Knight Rises, a sleeper hit for people who have never seen it, maybe.
No, but
yeah, if you haven't seen,
I can't accept this, because obviously the second movie is the best of the three Batman movies.
I also watched that one, and it's awesome, but I just like Bane better than the Joker, so I go with The Dark Knight Rises.
Makes sense.
Well, okay, maybe your taste in music is better. Do you have a pick for our Spotify music playlist? We have a community playlist where our guests can pick a song they want to put on. So maybe your taste in music is better than your taste in Batman movies.
He just told you it's still an awesome movie.
What?
He just told.
I can't believe you're burying my movie choice.
But you already said the other one is also awesome.
Yeah,
it was.
He just chooses. Avalanche is choosing to ignore it just by saying that I have shit music or movie taste.
Hey,
we take care of our.
I mean, to be honest, I think all all three movies of that series are great, but I don't know. For some reason, the second one with Joker just stuck in my head.
It's awesome.
That's the reason.
All right.
Great.
So, since you obviously have a very good taste in movies,
Thank you so much.
maybe you want to put an awesome song on our Spotify playlist, which is blownup.fm on Spotify.
If I had Spotify, I would listen to it. But right now, the artist that I'm most obsessed with in terms of music is this guy named Mike Stud. He has a song called Swish, which is my favorite song by him right now. So it's great. You should listen to it.
Yeah, I'll just put it on the playlist. Yeah, it's on Spotify, which is good for a Spotify playlist, of course. Yeah, I'll check it out, and our listeners can check it out as well.
So, Mr. Stone,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Check it out.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been a little bumpy here and there because the connection was not that good, because you said it. It's the other end of the world.
But yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you.
Good hearing you. Maybe, hopefully seeing you again sometime soon.
Yeah, hopefully next year's WrestleMania in Tampa, I'll probably see you guys.
Yeah, probably. I'm hoping so.
So that's pretty much what I just have to wait for that, and we'll just do a live podcast then.
And we are back from the talk with the good old Jaxon Stone. Our mood is still great. Robert, how are you?
Yeah, my mood is always great when I'm around you. You're such a good motivator.
Yes, also, to be transparent here, this is the third take of this moderation.
Yeah, after you called me Reiner for a couple of times.
Yeah, that happened too. Okay, guys, I think I need sleep. Have a good evening.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap things up for Felix right here. Thanks for tuning in again, and we see you soon with another episode of Blown Up.